The name's film. Twin films. I figured to do a James Bond intro because we're not talking about those two twin films.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the greatest? Is that the greatest twin film scenario that's ever happened?
I think,
after Hercules and Hercules?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Yeah. I can't believe Connery did it.
Barbie and Oppenheimer are not twin films at all.
Not yet. We don't know how Barbie ends.
They're both about the absurdity of life, so...
Yeah, I mean, Barbie could end just like Oppenheimer. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
We don't know. But what we do know is we wanted to talk about twin films, which is, since the dawn of movie making, this has been happening, especially when studios took over everything. One studio hears that, hey, we're making a movie about Elvis. Another studio's like, you gotta do something. But yeah, so we're gonna go through the 60s, through the 70s, through the 80s and the 90s. Not gonna talk about any of the 2000s ones because there's a bunch. Yeah. And they've probably already been beaten to death online. So we thought we'd go back a little bit.
We gotta go back.
Look at the beginning. Figure out what happened in the past.
Yep.
Technically Back to the Future and Peggy Sue got married. Twin films.
Wow, now that you've said that, yeah. Which one came first?
Back to the Future.
Okay, well, yeah.
Let's go all the way back to 1964. Stanley Kubrick making Dr. Strangelove.
Yes.
An absurdist, satirical look.
I don't remember, actually. I was still alive.
Neither of us were alive.
But I know what you're talking about.
A look at the Cold War era using comedy.
Yeah.
Great. Everyone loves it.
Yep.
What people sort of forget is that Sidney Lumet made Failsafe also that year.
Yeah.
Walter Matthau, Henry Fonda, basically exact same plot.
If you watch these movies, if you watch Failsafe first and then you watch Dr. Strangelove, it looks like Strangelove is parroting Failsafe. I mean, like, it legit looks like back in the day, like when scary movies came out, you'd be like, yeah, they were just ripping on Scream. It is wild. They kind of look similar. The endings are very similar. Just one is straight up comedy and the other is not.
And what's crazy is Kubrick, they knew this was in production, this other movie, Failsafe. So they sued for copyright infringement because it was too close to the book that they were adapting for Dr. Strangelove. Won the lawsuit out of court. Then Columbia Pictures bought Failsafe. And Kubrick was like, nah, my movie's going out first. Yeah. And so it's one of those weird twin films where it's like they knew from the start that these were the same.
Now,
movies.
Was Strangelove Columbia too?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even a studio being like, "Hey, we got it. Yeah. We won this in a lawsuit. We might as well put it out." But Failsafe is a great movie. If you've never seen it, just like what I imagine, like Oppenheimer's probably going to be like. Weirdly, it's just the ending is like so effective and so good. It's awesome. And Matthau, it's just young Matthau, still looking like old Matthau. Incredible.
There's a whole reason Failsafe got forgotten. Yeah. Because Dr. Strangelove is more monumental as a film.
I guess too that if you want to tackle a subject like this as it's happening, you might want to lean a little lighter, a little funnier. Yeah. With
humor, you can make much more of a biting commentary than you can with the straight drama.
Exactly.
And this was also right after the Cuban Missile Crisis happened too, so it was really big in everyone's brain at the time. Yeah. So let's go to the 70s.
Okay, here we go.
We're feeling a little groovy.
Super groovy.
Got our bell bottoms on. Back in the 70s, these two films are considered basically the start of the blaxploitation era. So obviously, you probably know we're going to be talking about Shaft.
Shut your mouth.
JD really want to do that.
Yeah. Thank you for the setup. Hang on. Knocked it out of the park.
Oh, cool. Oh, great. Thought you were going to do another Shaft thing.
Wait. Yep, still going. Home run.
Shaft was like big. It was like a cultural moment for blaxploitation. But people would say that Melvin Van Peebles' Sweetback's Badass Song is where it really like shown in like the style and the substance of blaxploitation films. It was so crazy to see how influential this guy was to that genre, but also never get any credit for like the longest time. So
interesting. I've never seen it.
Yeah, but obviously, you know, Shaft.
I think Shaft is just They saw a lot of it's just, and I think Isaac Hayes, and it looks cool. You know, I think it's just a cultural. I mean, but like, yeah, who's to say that the other one wouldn't have been a cultural thing? I don't know.
They're not really similar plots. The only thing that they have in common is that they started the genre, basically. Yeah. All right, now let's go to the 80s. This is like another whole genre, but it's the same exact idea. A little boy and an old man. They switch bodies. You know what I'm talking about. Big, obviously, but like father, like son. Also vice versa with Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage. There's like 16 others from the 80s.
The one that you have on the list that I bought, I think like in a $5 bin. Yeah. Dream a Little Dream with the Coreys.
With the Coreys. Corey Feldman, Corey Haim.
And that one is very weird because it's like an old man. It's like old man. Yeah. and they're actually, I think they switch total bodies. Like where Big is like, he's a big guy now, and it's like, no, this is a straight up like, that kid is in an old man's body, and old man's in a kid's body. And they're like, I think there's like love involved. It's
it's, you know, it was the 80s, and a lot of the movies from the 80s have aged terribly. Yeah. And vice versa. I just remember wanting to be Fred Savage as Judge Reinhold, just because how fun Judge made it feel. I don't remember the plot of that movie whatsoever. Body transformation movie, body swaps.
Body swaps, weird. Don't like them.
I hope the genre stays gone because I never liked any of them.
It won't.
It won't.
It'll be back. I'm pretty sure there was one like probably last year.
Deep Impact and Armageddon. Yeah. Probably the first time I realized twin films were a thing.
Well, I'd say maybe the most like recognized of the twin films. That it's like, this is two movies that are not the same really. Very different.
Very different.
And it's I think it starts to play into the like it starts to build the reputation of twin films that like the flashier one, like you can tell which one's gonna win or which one's gonna be in the the public's eye the most, because Armageddon just like destroys this thing.
Yeah, wins the box office. What's crazy, they're both profitable. Yeah. So it's not like Deep Impact didn't succeed. No. It did. It's just you could tell that Deep Impact was specifically made to try to catch the thunder of Armageddon.
Deep Impact tries to be a little bit more emotional. Oh, not even that, because Armageddon is emotional. But, it's like it tries to be a little bit more like, we're a serious movie. And Armageddon just has like Owen Wilson be like, wow, Astral. That's crazy.
And then Ben Affleck behind the scenes just ripping the movie.
But I think, Armageddon just had a better cast. I've shared my thoughts on Armageddon. It's an incredibly dumb, incredible movie.
One of the worst, greatest movies ever.
Yeah, but like I can tell you two people that are in Deep Impact.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, three. Elijah Wood, right? And is Tia Leone in Deep Impact? I don't remember.
She's definitely in not. I don't remember.
I don't remember. There's someone else in Deep Impact. We all know the cover. Yeah. The hug, the explosion.
You will like both movies.
Yeah.
One, Armageddon, for an entirely different reason. Deep Impact is just like, okay, that makes sense if the president was like just accepting that we're all going to die.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Armageddon is a like roller coaster. Yeah. And Deep Impact's like, let's really sit and think about this. I'll think of this example, and then like Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down. Yeah. And I actually like White House Down better. It's the Armageddon of
wow. That's kind of a bold take. Well, the Fallen series has more movies. But
yeah, White House Down's fun,
It was fun.
It was fun.
But I like the Fallen series more.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you think it exists in the same universe since Morgan Freeman's president?
Oh, Deep Impact? Yeah, absolutely.
What if since, Olympus Has Fallen came out like 20 years later? Yeah. What if he was a president that just stayed in office the whole time?
Like that got him enough cred to like stay in office forever?
He's like, yeah, you can have it.
Yeah, sure. You're president forever.
Obviously, we got Truman Show, Jim Carrey, Ed Harris just crushing it. Zemeckis, you know the deal. But the very next year, we get the same concept, but with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. I'm, of course, talking about EdTV. We've talked about this movie quite a bit. It's what if a dumb person was reality TV, and then that became real life.
That's what's crazy is that like while Truman Show more celebrated as a movie and as a performance, but EdTV like predicted the future.
Exactly.
Like it's like that's social media, that's reality TV. So we can talk all day about how great Truman Show is and how emotional it is, but EdTV is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang, this is exactly
how prescient.
Yes, it's like it's got it. I mean, you're talking Woody Harrelson and Matthew, and
I think it was their first movie together, right? Unless they did one before.
I can't remember. If someone really did try to pull off a Truman Show, this is what it would turn into. But yeah, I mean, Truman Show is incredible and deserves every accolade that it got.
But EdTV was Twitch before it was Twitch, so.
Man, it's just so good. Like even like you got like Jim Carrey on the big screen, and then you got like EdTV is just like, oh, it's like the same thing, but it's on like a tiny TV. Like, is it time for Julia Stiles Corner?
It's time for Julia Stiles Corner. Let's play the music.
There we go. Thanks. Now listen, guys. These are twin films.
Yes. It's kind of a triplet.
It's a triplet film. But it's just so wild that it's just wild about the one person who's involved in all three projects, and that's Julia Stiles, who in 1999 was in 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a modern day interpretation of The Taming of the Shrew. Then the next year she is in a modern adaptation of Hamlet with Ethan Hawke.
Called?
Hamlet.
Yeah, there you go.
And then the next year she is in O, which is a modern interpretation of Othello. All three Shakespeare.
Yep.
all three would have maybe had it been filmed back to back.
Had to have been. She was just on a Shakespeare
and she
kick.
just never thought, yeah, maybe like I shouldn't be doing this, because they they each get progressively worse too. Just wild that no one said, hey, I know Shakespeare's huge right now again. Maybe we don't.
Don't cast the same woman.
Maybe we don't cast the same person. And because it's like she's the main character in one, and then like believe the love interest in the other two. Yeah. And in she plays a pretty major role. But it's just wild that like even Julia didn't say,
interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like that maybe they were just trying to, jump on the success of 10 Things I Hate About You, but to come out back to 3 times, not just once. It's not just, we're not talking like, oh, it's a fluke and they were trying to like ride that high.
Yeah.
No, 3 times.
Yeah. Do you think that's why she did Save the Last Dance? To break it up?
Yeah, absolutely. And Mona Lisa Smile.
And also the Bourne Legacy series.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I think she got typecast really quick. It was like almost immediately she hit the scene and it was like, you're in Shakespeare movies.
I hate that she doesn't have more to do in Bourne. I know we're just talking Julia Stiles.
I know, yeah.
I mean, does she have a cool thing to be like, hey, you look tired? And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's Jason Bourne.
But hey, that's Julia Stiles Corner.
That's Julia Stiles Corner. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, that's a video within a video. We stole that idea from podcast within a podcast that everyone does on podcasts. Sean Connery's in a lot of twin films.
Wow.
But yeah, there's plenty of them. And a lot of times the dichotomy between them is like, one's bad, one's good. But sometimes you strike gold.
And sometimes they're both bad.
And sometimes they're both
I think
awful.
we're looking at you, Hercules and the Legend of Hercules. You're both bad. Haven't seen either of you, but I know you're bad.
Well, hey, 2023, we're getting 2 Dracula movies, so.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Anyways.
The world's a vampire.
Sent the drain.
Un esercito di prodi